Hi, I'm Rob from Coyote Productions. We're here today at Play Expo in Manchester. If you'd like to introduce yourself to camera.
Hello, I'm also Rob Hewson from Huey Games. We're here with Hyper Sentinel. We're showing off today, and it's a brilliant show.
Cool. What could you tell us about the game?
So it's basically, we call it Neo Retro, right?
Nice.
So we're taking inspiration from 8-bit classic shmups.
Brilliant.
There's a game called Iridium, programmed by Andrew Braybrook, legendary developer.
ZX Spectrum?
ZX Spectrum, C64 was the original version. So that's one of the big inspirations for the style of the game. And then in terms of the gameplay, Defender is a massive inspiration in terms of how it plays. And then we take inspiration from R-Type and all these other shoot 'em ups. So you got boss battles, you got power-ups.
Nice.
It's just like 8-bit on steroids basically. And the whole idea with Neo Retro is taking inspiration from the past but making it new, putting modern features and modern effects.
Putting a new spin on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, 8-bit on steroids. So tons of things going on screen, super fast, action-packed, really colourful, and just really intense shoot 'em up.
Do you also have the sprite slowdown? Or
No, no. So this is the thing. You take the idea again is to take the stuff that's really cool from retro and leave aside the stuff that's perhaps not dated so well. And there's things like, it is a tough, challenging game, but it's not quite as brutal as some of the old. So you do have checkpoint saves between levels, for example.
So that's how it differs from kind of the 8-bit world, 16-bit world.
Yeah, that's it. It's very much in the spirit of other Neo Retro titles like Shovel Knight and Hotline Miami, those kind of things. But for shoot 'em ups. So you've got regenerating health, you've got epic weapons, you've got spectacular effects going off. You've got 3 different gameplay modes. So there's arcade, which is basically battling through all the levels and all the bosses. You've got survival mode, which is like an endless mode. So it's surviving against the clock for as long as you can, which is absolutely brilliant. People love that mode.
Nice.
Really good, obviously, to watch people and the skills that you can get into. And then boss run mode, which is basically battling against, after you completed a level, battle against a boss, except without any of the power-ups. So it's stripped back, but then you get these score bubbles coming out, so it's like a high scoring mode.
Right, cool.
And it's one of those easy to play but difficult to master, that classic thing, right?
Yeah.
And the way that we're going about that is it's quite simple controls, easy to pick up. You've got shoot and boost basically.
Okay.
But every mechanic has layers of depth to it. So, for example, you can turn your ship both directions, and at first that's like, okay, I can go both ways.
Yep.
What you learn is that when you change direction, that there's a sort of a barrel roll animation that will actually dodge bullets and dodge enemies.
Right.
So if you learn to time that, you'll learn that your hyper boost, which you use to chase after the power-ups, has different effects and pulls those power-ups in, and those kinds of little touches. Well, I don't want to go through all of them because obviously we want players to discover them. We want players to play the game and then realise there's more and more layers to it and keep getting higher scores and keep chasing a better time in survival.
So do you have kind of an online leaderboard system then for high scores?
Yep, we've got online leaderboards for all the different gameplay modes. We've got medals in the game as well. So every level has 5 medals, so 60 medals to complete in total, which is for different challenges during the game, whether it's completing the level in a certain time or defeating a certain set of enemies, all of those kind of things.
So
and then obviously
different challenges basically to get the player.
So it gives it loads of replay appeal.
Yep.
And there's 3 different difficulty modes as well. So normal difficulty is pretty tough, pretty challenging, and then you got hard, and then you got retro, which is obviously for the real old school people who really want that ridiculous, brutal challenge from back in the day.
Yeah, going from level 1 with no powers every time you play. Yeah.
And then of course, because it's retro inspired and it was funded on Kickstarter, and our Kickstarter backers, a lot of them are from the retro community and they've been absolutely awesome. And some of the stretch goals from that, we had different graphics filters. So you can go into the pause menu and you can switch it to Spectrum style graphics. Or you can switch it to C64 style graphics. So you've got these different filters that you can put on. Those are all stretch goals.
Properly living old school.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea. So I mean, is this a concept that your studio deals with quite a lot, the retro side of gaming, or is this a new kind of avenue that you're extending into? So
I mean, we're a new studio. We just started up last year, so this will be our first release. After this, we've got another Neo Retro game, which is a point-and-click adventure called The Mystery of Woolly Mountain. So that's kind of inspired by your Monkey Islands and that kind of thing, but with sort of Adventure Time meets The Simpsons style graphics.
Cool.
Again, the creator of that, James Lightfoot, That was all funded on Kickstarter. He had Ron Gilbert as one of the backers, so proper. You know you're doing a good point and click when Ron Gilbert's backing it on Kickstarter.
Absolutely, definitely.
So that's our next project after this one. But yeah, we're kind of we've got ties back to the retro scene. My father, who's around somewhere, he ran a company called Houston back in the day that published a lot of 8-bit games and Pinball Dream Film Fantasy. So we've done a book that he's got as well. So we got a lot of ties to the retro community there. Very important to us.
So how do you find finding funding from Kickstarter? How do you find that kind of influences the project? Does it kind of develop more along the lines of community-led kind of idea then,
I mean, we definitely want to involve the community in that, because obviously they're the ones who are making it possible for you to make that game happen. So we try to keep them informed of every bit of progress, every step along the way. We take all of their feedback, and we go to a lot of events like this, and we meet tons and tons of our backers and ask them their opinion, and obviously get opinion from the wider retro community, and that feedback helps us polish the game.
Oh, so it kind of drives it in different directions, would you say? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've done 3 Kickstarters now.
Oh, right.
And the first one for Hyper Sentinel actually didn't get funded, and then we took the feedback from the community and came back again, and that was really important in helping to drive the direction for that the second time, and it got funded. And in terms of those features for the stretch goals, we reached out to the community beforehand and said, what would you like to see? And actually I believe the graphics modes, the Spectrum and the C6, that was one of the suggestions from a member of the community.
Oh, right.
And then that worked in the, people really wanted that, so now we've got it.
Yeah, it's what I love about the indie world, and kind of the mod community as well, especially, where you've got all this kind of community feedback, which kind of helps to shape the game, and then you've got kind of end users, players that are actually invested, much more invested in the end product. Yeah,
absolutely, and we really enjoy that. I mean, we've been in development for I've been in 12 years, and my business partner about 15. So we've come from big companies to the indie scene, and being able to really interact with the community is one of the real joys about that. And it's just makes everything we do feel that much more personal, and it's fantastic to see the response when you come somewhere like this.
Yeah. Do we have a demo that we can get hold of at all? Or?
No, we did a demo for the Kickstarter. That was online for a few months after Kickstarter, but we've taken it down now, and the reason we've taken it down is because we've polished this game so much.
It's gone so far. So much more forward in development.
It's so much better now, and we rather than doing another demo, we're just focusing on getting this game out, getting it finished for the backers.
Do you have a release date?
Yes. So, we don't have the final release date because we're bug fixing and we're submitting into Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. Those are all going through at the moment. So we have to wait for those to come back before we're allowed to tie down the exact release date. But it's going to be very early in the new year, hopefully January in the new year.
Okay, and do you have a website that we can get updates on?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to hypersentinel.com, that will have everything on the game on there, and we've got our USB cassette collector's edition on there as well.
Oh, so, nice.
If you want to fit it in with your other cassettes in your retro collection, then you can get that.
Very nice. Oh well, yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thank you. Cheers.